Guys, here's the truth. Businesses don't really care about AI. Well, what they care about is their problems being solved. And over the past few months, business owners have been literally dumping all their business problems over my desk in hours and hours of AI consultations. In this video, I've gathered all these pain points and all these problems for you in the different areas where a business operates. And I'm gonna go with you step by step into all these areas to try to identify how you can build actual solutions for these different problems in these different areas. And how I believe the number one differentiator, if you wanna start an AI business, is to specialize in at least solving one of these problems that I'm gonna share with you. I believe this video is gonna be one of the best videos that I ever created so far. It has tremendous of value. I spent a lot of time organizing the content and organizing all these consultations and all these problems that I've had with different clients into one video. So I really hope you enjoy it, and I really hope you can start a successful business out of it. Or if you're a business owner, I hope these things can actually inspire you to identify how you can automate your business and either save time or make more money. If you're here for the first time, my name is Sirap. I love talking about AI, and I love to incorporate it in the business sense and try to identify how it can bring us more revenue or save us more time. So if you like this content, make sure to check out other videos that I have. Let's jump in. Alrighty. So before we actually dive into the different solutions or the different pain points, I want to clarify what are the biggest areas a business operates. And from these different areas, obviously, pain points can arise. So if you try to gather what are the most common things across all different businesses, any business has some sort of client acquisition. So what strategy are they doing to actually get customers? They have product fulfillment. So how are they fulfilling their product? Whether it is some sort of a service or they are building products or manufacturing or shipping. So there's a lot of different components that goes into this process that you can definitely automate with AI. And finally, there is customer service and customer experience. So here, anything that has to go to how do they deal with clients, how do they answer their inquiries, how do they solve problems, or how is the general experience of the customers will be falling under this category. And as you notice, in all of these different categories, there is potential where AI can be integrated to help either automate human effort or generate more money. Let's start with the first one. So the client acquisition. This is where you can basically specialize as an AI agency owner and offer services specialized for client acquisition. And I want to clarify why is this, in my opinion, one of the best ways to actually start a business. Let's say if it's in the AI, also like offering these services. First of all, when you're trying to sell your service and you have a certain cost associated with it, let's say you want to sell your service for 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is, the client is usually trying to offset this cost against something that they can measure against. For example, let's say something costs 5,000. The client ideally want to make 10 times that, want to make 50,000, or want to make 3 times that, depending on what service you're trying to offer. So it's so much easier to justify this cost, which is like the ROI, like the return on investment, if you can show them actual money figures. And this is something that all businesses trying to increase. As you know, money is the oxygen of the business. So the more money they can make, the easier it is to generate business. There are certain things that also makes it super attractive. You can also do some value-based pricing. Here, not just you pay for hourly or for labor cost. You can maybe take percentage of whatever business you bring the person. In other terms, commission. So let's say you get them a client worth of maybe 50,000, 100,000. You can get 10% cut out of that, plus your fees and like general retainer. That's why I think like this focusing on client acquisition is just so attractive for AI agency owners or using AI in general, because it is absolutely amazing. And here I want to clarify like what are the main strategies that businesses trying to acquire new customers. There are basically two main areas. There's the outbound and there's the inbound. When we talk about outbound, there's basically two main strategies to get clients through outbound. By outbound, I mean nobody knows who you are, and you need to literally go to your client and put your product in their face. This is what outbound is. How do you do that? You can do it either with emails and you can do it with LinkedIn. So one of these two. Or you can do it with paid ads. That's why we have so many ads literally shout in our faces every time we want to watch a YouTube video. Probably while you're watching my YouTube video, some ads is going to be shown to you. So I apologize for that. But these are the two main things. And this is how you can actually benefit and show people about your offer. But now more specifically, how can you offer this as a service? If we focus on the email and LinkedIn automation, there are now so many agencies that is purely specialized on email and LinkedIn outreach automation. And what these guys do, they usually use some sort of a data set. Like they can use Apollo, if you've heard of Apollo. Apollo is like a tool that can get you all different leads. Like let's say you want to get founders of specific company, like let's say technical founders who are leading a company with 5 to 10 people. You can use Apollo to download a list of like millions of these people and then just blast some email campaigns towards these people and then generate more business. And here, like, how can you then use AI to actually offer this as a service? You can do it in different ways. You can use AI to do hyper personalized email marketing campaigns. For example, you can scan their profiles. So Apollo provide you like maybe the LinkedIn URL of this person. It can provide you with the website URL, and then you can maybe get this data, try to generate a more personal note after you understand this person. What I also use for my own business is I try to use the AI to filter people who are not qualified because these tools generate a lot of noise. For example, lately I've been trying to find e-commerce customers, and then it gives you also back agencies who are serving for e-commerce. So basically me, like somebody who is like me. And it would just sound silly if you send another agency a offer that you are basically your competitor. So here you can use definitely AI, especially when you're dealing with thousands and thousands of profiles. You can't do this manually anymore. And here AI agents can play a very pivotal role. If you want to do some automations for LinkedIn, I really would recommend Unipile. It's like an API wrapper for LinkedIn. It lets you send requests, lets you send messages, and maybe you can build some end-to-end workflows on top of it. Instantly has been my favorite tool for sending email marketing campaigns. It's very similar to Apollo, like I would say identical. The only thing here with Instantly, they have really nice feature. If you're starting with a new email, they do like email warm up. And then if you are unfamiliar with sending outbound email, it's really important to have really good domain name. Emails can fall in the spam. So there's a lot of things to wrap your hand around. And it's really good to use just some software that you can just focus on the copywriting, the messaging, and making a good offer rather than the technicalities of making your email land in the inbox. So what you can do as an agency, what's the opportunity here? Specialize into that. Identify what are the areas, how you can set up domains, how can you make sure the emails land in the boxes, specialize in copywriting, try different strategies for cold outbound emails, what works, what doesn't work, how you can use AI to lower the list. Like it would be even better to have maybe a smaller list of really, really strong ICP, like ideal client profile that really fits your target audience rather than just blasting to just everybody, like other competitors as well. So it just wouldn't be so efficient. Here I say there's a lot of things to learn and to make sure you're really good at, but you can make so many different offers that, for example, you can guarantee certain things. The more risk you take on, the more money you can make. So some offers I've also done in the past where I didn't get paid until the clients were landing, but then I got paid very well. So see how much risk tolerance would you can you afford, and the more risk you take on and you take away from your client, the more you can charge, and they will be happy to pay you because you just made them more money. So they will be happy to share that with you because they didn't take any risk. And I think it's common human behavior. People just make bets from not accomplished money compared to money in their pockets. Like I would gladly split maybe 100 euros. If you tell me you would give me 100 euros tomorrow and we split 50-50 and I don't have to do anything, I would gladly do that rather than give you 50 now from my pocket. It's kind of the same concept. So the second thing you can focus on is paid ads. This is also another ocean of knowledge that you can focus on. And luckily, AI is playing major roles. Businesses don't really know anything about paid ads, I have to say, unless they've been in business for quite some time. They've been doing this for a while. If they haven't, then whatever education you can provide, whatever abstraction you can also take away from the business owners, the more they appreciate it. They just want the results. I don't care about anything else. With a paid ad, there are certain things to watch out for. Obviously, you are putting the client's wallet to pay for these ads. So you need to be very upfront about it. Tell them on average how much would they have to pay to see results. I've seen a lot of agency owners guarantee at least certain things. For example, I guarantee you 10 booked appointments, but then they don't tell you how much money you're going to be spending until you reach that. So here is also some gray area. So my opinion, just always be upfront. Don't tell the clients anything until you've had experience with the things. Measure how much click per cost, or is it cost per click? You need to experiment with different words. Here, when it comes to ads, like literally every word matter. So you need to maybe A/B or even C test different assets. You can also try just images versus images with videos. Here, I collected you some of the tools that I've personally used. You can see this other video I made about arcads. Here, you can make an UGG or UGC. I'm not sure what that is. Basically, you can make a person talk in front of the camera about your product, which is super cool because today in my community, I had a member who literally had to go in different areas in Berlin and had to record himself. It took him maybe a full day of work of him recording a couple of these ads himself and then edit the video and all this kind of stuff. And with the costs associated with all these different things, like in the beginning, of course, it's only your hours, so your time. But imagine also hiring an editor and a videographer, all this kind of stuff. So with here, the video costs around 10 euros. Quality is very good, I have to say. You wouldn't notice as an AI generated. And if you wanted to add some effects, this is actually enough for you to make some ads and post them. It's just a person speaking, and you literally speak into the phone, and then it sounds exactly like you, like with your accent and everything. It's mind-blowing, actually. Other tools are like VO3 and this new Google Nano Banana to make things extra special. Here, the technology is there, but the creativity is not. So for me, I'm not so creative. So maybe these tools, like, I don't know, it's like giving a monkey a gun. They wouldn't be able to shoot properly, right? So if you give this like a famous creator or somebody who's really creative, these kind of tools, he can make you something amazing. For me, probably mediocre, but I also don't offer these services because I'm not so good at ads. But I see the value of them. There's now so many tools that you can specialize in. You can use ChatGPT for the scripting as well, and then create the ad. But what's really important is you manage the whole campaign. You manage the campaign on Meta, on YouTube, whatever you're posting the ads on. The client doesn't need to see anything. So it's a full done for you service. And this is why people would pay money. Just make sure you get the people results, make sure you experiment early, iterate on the different assets and see what's working. And once you have understanding of what works inside a niche, then you can capitalize on that niche and then you'll become maybe the bigger player in that niche. This is what I would recommend. Don't jump between different niches because there's a lot of experimentation and you're experimenting with the client's money. So just be a little bit thoughtful about that. And after maybe you land the client, actually, before I'm even approaching dentists, I am running some ads to see what works to generate leads for the dentists from my own money, just to make sure, like, I don't want to spend someone else's money if I don't know this stuff works. But I see tremendous value. So the final two areas in getting clients is the inbound strategy. So again, I see a lot of businesses really struggling in terms of content. Why is that? Content is boring to some business owners and they don't have the time to do it. I'm running now multiple communities here in Berlin, and I would literally hire somebody just to do the content for us, like the Instagram, do the LinkedIn post. We have a full-time person just doing that, and it saves us so much time because then we don't need to worry about it. And then we're thinking about logistics, we're thinking about how to get clients, we're thinking about maybe ads. Content always falls way behind. And the problem with content is just, as you see here on YouTube, it accumulates and then it compounds. And at some point, you're a brand. You're a recognized brand because you're in everybody's faces, and then you have the authority, and all of a sudden you see you're closing deals way easier. People are even approaching you. You don't even need to do outbound. and these cold calling and these cringe conversations, people just come at you. So it's a very long game, but it's a very important game. And for business owners who don't have the time for this, they would love to pay somebody else money to create these things. And right now, luckily, again, we have different tools, the same tools for the ads. You can also generate different content. If you want video, if you want pictures, you can also generate. There's also a lot of models. ChatGPT, it's okay. It's not the best for creating like image content, but things are improving so much faster. There's actually a tool called Leonardo.ai. Let's see, this one, Leonardo.ai, I would recommend. Also pretty good for generating images in general. They have multiple different models, and you basically manage their content. You create also posts for them. Here is actually to the second part. So you can also specialize in creating blog posts. Here, there's also a lot of opportunity, and I'm actually just about to hire somebody to do my SEO and Google Analytics. And right now, they're doing stuff manually, but I'm sure with time, after they have the knowledge, they can also automate things. So here, blogs, I recently came across a guy who's running a company and generating almost like $1 million a year, literally just by SEO. And I was so surprised that you can use SEO in combination with Google Ads and writing high quality blogs to generate so much traffic to your website, especially if you're maybe just starting out, you don't really know the potential of this because your website is like buried somewhere in the middle of nowhere of the internet. So like you barely get traffic. Most of my traffic actually comes through the YouTube, not through my great SEO game. That's why I'm gonna hire somebody full time just to check out, do some market research. So here, there's a lot of work that goes into it. You need to figure out like what kind of keywords are going into YouTube or Google, sorry, and how you can optimize your website to organically gather these keywords. So imagine somebody type AI consulting or AI automation services. Ideally, you want your website to come on the top rank. It doesn't usually come so high up without paying for Google Ads, but this is the competition. And then everybody's competing for these top spots. And the more competition there is for certain keywords, the more maybe you have to pay, or the other way around. But here, building expertise into that and then trying to, after you know maybe the strategy, like, hey, this is the exact keywords that we need to build, you can then use AI and maybe Cursor or Lovable to generate these blog posts. Lovable, if you don't know it, it's a website or a tool to create very beautiful looking websites, literally just from an idea. What I usually do, I create the first version with Lovable, then I go to Cursor. Cursor is more like a code, AI agents for code, a little bit more technical, these two things. But then you can create a website in a day or two for your client. So you can start with that, and then you can offer these extras as an additional packages just to make your whole package more strong and stand out from people who just do websites. And funny enough, I have another person in my community offering exactly this as a service, and he's been super successful. And he's launching this literally by doing some ads. So his strategy is create some ads, then people book appointments with him. He creates the website for them and then optimize for the SEO. And that's how he gets them clients. And it's been working well. So there's a lot of opportunity here also to automate your business with AI. I personally also create a lot of my blogs with AI. I was building the wrong blogs, and now I hired somebody to tell me exactly what is the competition and what blogs I should write. But I'm sure soon there are going to be some tools that's going to pop up that an AI agent would just do the whole thing for you with a click of a button. But for now, I just hired somebody just to have an expert person to look at. Alrighty. And now the final part of the sales. I mean, if we're talking here, this is basically marketing, and then you would have the sales. These are the most important things one of the most important things in the business because they drive the cash flow. The next thing would be some sort of a qualification and follow up and nurture. Here I see AI and N8N play a very important role. For example, when somebody book an appointment with me, the AI jump in, does a research about them, check their LinkedIn, check their websites, and see if they're a good fit for me, and then decides whether to, send me this first, and then I decide personally whether I want to book an appointment or not, decline or accept. The fun thing about N8N, which is this AI workflow automation tool, it can be plugged into your Google Drive with your email, and of course, it comes with some AI agents. The nice thing also about follow-ups, you can connect it to your CRM and then automatically automatically extract all the customers you've had or all the deals that you maybe lost a year ago, and then send them a new email and say like, hey, things didn't work out, I don't know, 9 months ago. Are you interested in, maybe timing was wrong, sometimes in sales, it's always about the timing. So it's also nice to have some sort of automations that goes underneath the hood. And also the nice thing here is that you don't need to wait for the CRM to build that feature, because you can just connect it to end-to-end and build it yourself. It's super basic. End-to-end is like a low code, just like a bunch of nodes you connect together, add the AI. So even just normal business people can connect it to, let's say, HubSpot or Salesforce, and do all these automations manually yourself without even developers. And it's mind-blowing, the technology. The stuff also that I like to do, this is maybe more specific for agencies in general. The moment we agree on a proposal, or the moment I enter a sales call, the AI generated proposal automatically for me. I will post some videos about it in the future, how I'm using AI to automate my business. Like on this side, basically the outbound, the qualification, the follow-up, and the nurture. The nurture is also very important. This is maybe for bigger clients who have a lot of customers. You can send them personalized emails maybe every other day. Make sure let's say if they have certain onboarding, you can send them different personal messages on these different onboarding. And that increases the satisfaction, the loyalty of the clients, and just makes them feel like it can give them this personal touch that small businesses do, even if you are a large business. And this is the power of AI. Now you can actually hire AI agents that can give these personal touches, even if you're a massive corporate. And I see the value is just tremendous. So the next area that AI can really help businesses in is the product fulfillment. Here, when I talk about product fulfillment, I'm also talking about just the product in general, like everything that goes behind the scenes until you are able to provide your service or product to your customer and get the money in return. So the whole thing, I just package it as product fulfillment. And here I cannot give you so strict guidelines of what you can specialize on, because here it really depends on the business. It depends on the niche. When I spoke to all these different business owners, here the problems were so different from one business to another that it's really difficult to build a service that you can replicate amongst multiple businesses. This is a little bit challenging, but then if you can solve it, then it also has a potential to be a SaaS for the specific niche, and then generalize it to multiple businesses. But what I would usually recommend, if you get jobs or if you want to maybe understand how AI can help in this area, is that you would enter a company. You would start with maybe an AI strategy, or you would try to first understand the different processes that this business has to do. Like, how does the product move? How does the data get imported? What does the data need to go? You draw all these things and then try to identify, hey, in these areas is where the technology right now can be used to automate this in a very effective way and without hallucinating or making you look and your brand look terrible. So this is how the process go. We enter with an AI strategy, adoption roadmap, literally draw all the different processes, and after you understand, you can then start suggesting some solutions. I'm going to give you here some concrete examples from the e-commerce, because I love to work with e-commerce. They have so many different problems and it's really exciting to work on these problems. But for example, for the fulfillment, let's say you have a shop, like a Shopify store or something like that, and you always need to update your products. You always need some help with the product description generation, making sure the quality is good. You also would love to maybe automatically upload products. There's usually also some syncing with the inventory. So you want to see that the online, whatever products you're showing online are actually synced with whatever you have in your inventory. Here's also a really interesting one, like address validation. Sometimes people do some purchases over still some Excel sheets from like big corporates, and then they write a bunch of maybe false addresses, empty information. So there's a lot of data validation that goes into it that can be tremendous value, because you can save them just so much time, guys, by really, really simple solutions. So you don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to connect AI agents to the whole system. You can just fix this one problem for this one person and then charge them 5 to 10K. They will be super happy. The last one also came as a pain point. They want to understand how much discounts can they offer for the offer to be attractive enough and not making them lose so much money. So finding this threshold between this is good enough to generate more sales, but not harmful enough to lose more money. So all of these things you can do with AI and intelligence and data science, that is very specific to certain businesses, but it also can provide tremendous value. Now, the final part where AI can be effectively applied in businesses is the customer service and experience. Here is probably, you've heard it a lot, one of the most common applications for AI is some sort of a chatbot or voice agents for customer service. These chatbots can basically answer the general inquiries. They can also sign appointments, give you some software information, or even help the customer submit some tickets. So you can build these with N8N, BotPress, there's so many different websites that can help you build chatbots and voice agents at the same time. Usually, I like to use N8N because it's open source. It's also cheaper on the long term. I tried BotPress, like especially if you're an agency trying to white label this as a service, it can be a little bit tricky and it's not so flexible. N has the highest flexibility and the highest accuracy among all these. If you want to go also one level more accurate, you would build things from scratch, meaning like build stuff with Python, do your own API server and host it somewhere. You can also connect it to some ticketing tools. Zendesk is quite common. And then basically that's it. After that, I will also show you here, there are some things that you can do like in the business internally to automate some internal stuff. For example, answering these tickets. Let's say a chatbot writes a ticket, or this customer is complaining about this certain thing, and then you have an AI agent reading this complaint and then writing an answer, save it somewhere to a database for a human to approve, human click approve, this person or this customer gets an automatic email with this answer, the time saving probably about an hour, or I don't know, sorry, maybe I'm exaggerating, but maybe half an hour. I don't know how long it takes you to maybe go to the FAQ, find the exact answer and answering it. It would take me around maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. Here, if you're trying to sell solutions, you need to focus on the cost saving, but also not just the cost saving, because you need to prove that savings were like time was saved. So you need to track the conversations with the chatbot, make sure that you're answering correctly, make sure to gather feedback, like how is the sentiment, the conversations angry, are the people frustrated, and then generate these reports. So here there's a lot of ongoing support that goes into it. And if you ever decide to focus your agency on these kind of services, in my opinion, these are the most difficult service to get right. Although it is mind-blowing how on YouTube they get advertised as the easiest thing to sell, they are so difficult to get right because every person is interacting with the chatbot in a very different way. If you're building a system, you need to minimize the number of possible inputs to make sure that the system doesn't break. Let's say I build an engine, and the engine can only accept these pens. And every time I put a pen in, the system works, nothing breaks. And all of a sudden, somebody throw a cup inside my engine, and then the engine breaks. The same thing goes for the chatbot. So for all these other businesses, like here, these systems, you know that you're only getting pens, you're getting some sort of an email, blah, blah, blah. You can approve, you can like manually check the results. The system works without you being there. Chatbots, all of a sudden, you have the human creativity, and then people are asking all different type of questions that it just makes it really difficult to get right. And it's really difficult to cover all the edge cases, especially if it's customer facing and people are being maybe a little bit harmful with the chatbot. I would say this is something a little bit more for advanced. Don't start with chatbots or voice agents. It's very difficult to get right. And also with voice agents, if you're selling in Europe, there's not many voice agent software that have data residency in Europe, which is a big problem for European companies. I saw one, but it already costs like a lot of money. Vapi provide you European hosting if you phone them and then ask for the enterprise pricing. I'm gonna tell you it's gonna be also expensive. So I would recommend maybe start with the automations. Start on the left side, lead gen, maybe even here like product fulfillment, trying to identify stuff here. How you can automate the business, make it more efficient. Here again, the ROI is time saved, labor saved, less mistakes. So it's all connected to saving time. And unfortunately, hopefully with more like time and cost saving is more revenue. But I prefer these kind of solutions because they're really tied into money. The last part that I want to discuss is the customer reactivation and loyalty. This is one of my favorite things because it's also tied into more money. Customer reactivation. I made a very exclusive video about lead reactivation. All these big clients have thousands and thousands of customers just lying there, sleeping. They tried your services once before, they liked it, maybe even a couple times. But maybe they don't know about your latest update. But or maybe you do have like some sort of a newsletter that you blast and it looks so marketing and people probably don't read this. So what you want is to do like some sort of a personal messages to these customers. Tells them like, hi, like let's say you message me like, hi Sarab, how are you? I'm just checking up on you. How did you like our last product? I saw that you bought this and this from us. Would love to get your feedback. It looks like somebody wrote it to me, right? So I would be like, oh, this person got some time to write me something very thoughtful. I will write something back. Compared to you blasting this marketing page with all these colors, and I've seen you've like maybe created once and blasted to all the people. I'm sure the other one would get more replies and hopefully drive more traffic because it's easier to upsell things to previous customers than to new customers. So these are the system that I would recommend. You can incorporate, this is the one that I was mentioning, the personalized marketing campaign. There's also personalized onboarding. For example, if you have a couple of different complicated steps, let's say you have a SaaS and the first person has to connect this and then add that, you can send them very personal messages in the different stages based on when they're stuck. What I've also seen happening, if the customers encounter some errors and you have like usually a team who is trying to answer these errors and you've gathered because you've been in business for years, you have like a big list of different cases where how you can solve these certain errors. You can put an AI there and just try to generate like helpful tips how the customers can come out of this deep hole that they are in, and they would really appreciate it. And it feels like customer service wrote this, and this is all labor and can be automated with AI. And again, this would increase the loyalty, they would feel more loved, and then hopefully stay with you longer. We already discussed the automatic answering of tickets, also all these sentiment analysis. This was already possible before ChatGPT and all these LLMs, already with some sentiment analysis models. If you have some product and you want to do market research into how good the product is doing, you can also do that. Recommendation systems, very, very popular. This is more in e-commerce or anybody trying to sell different products. You can train some AI to recommend similar products to your customers or totally different products but belonging to the same category. Like let's say someone bought coffee, you can recommend them milk. Somebody bought a coffee and you realize they always buy really nice coffee. You can give them a special offer of this really premium coffee, Colombian, by the way, my favorite coffee. And I would sell it. I would buy it if I'm in love with coffee. And you say like, hey, by the way, you can send them a personal message like, hey, Syrup, we just brought these Colombian coffee that based on your purchase history, we think you would love. Would you like to have some samples? And I'll be, yes, of course, I would love to. Please send me some. So this is it. That was a long video. I'm sorry for that. It was 40 minutes of me dumping literally hours and hours of different conversations I've had with business owners. Having some of them having problems here, some of them having problems there. Also, a lot of people having problems here. I almost gave up on the chatbots and voice agents because I didn't get enough proof that people actually need them until I noticed what kind of clients need them. It's usually bigger clients. Like if you think of company size 1 to 5, they're not going to need a chatbot to answer all these things. But the more you go to bigger ones, they just cannot handle the amount of traffic that is going their way, and they cannot deal with how many tickets they're being created. There's been also like maybe tickets lying there in their ticketing system for maybe days and days and months without answering, and that provides terrible customer service. You can just put an AI and then send like, hey, this is the solution to your problem. And then maybe every day somebody comes, checks on all these AI generated answers and quickly click approve, 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 approve. It all gets sent. And I see the human responsibility is slowly moving away from us doing all the work manually to become a AI approver. Like you just show up, you have different displays, and then with each display, you have your tasks for the day. The AI did all the work. You just approve. So you protect your brand. You make sure there's no hallucinations, there's no nonsense that going out that might harm your business. And you maybe double check every once in a while if the AI actually got it right or no, and provide good feedback for the people developing these systems. So that is it. That was a long one. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was really, really fun to write all these different processes and try to identify how we can really use AI to its maximum potential. And I hope this video inspired you to either build a solution for a specific problem or automate your business using AI with what I just mentioned. That's it, and I see you in the next videos.